What is the connection between cryptocurrency and consciousness? Obviously, our favorite topic here at Conscious Crypto Traders. In today's video, I want to dive deep with an expert in the subject in just a moment. Consciousness is multifaceted. There are many ways that consciousness is connected to cryptocurrency. The fact that we have cryptocurrency coming into challenge the monetary system is an indication of an elevation of consciousness and a democratization in our consciousness of money and reciprocity and store of value. So its very existence is the product of a raising of consciousness. When we talk about trading consciously, we are looking at ideas of being conscious and aware of many technical analysis factors, as well as your emotions and your mindset going into the trades, coming out of the trades. And then there's that special source that I like to say of consciousness, where there seems to be a collective consciousness in the market itself which affects price action. For example, when you look at the Fibonacci levels and there's a massive dump and there'll be a wick and it wicks down and touches one of the Fibonacci levels exactly, how does it know to stop there? That's consciousness, right? It's such an exciting topic. We're going to head right on over to the interview I did with Cian Kenshin, a master meditator and a spiritual teacher, as well as a crypto investor himself and an educator in the cryptocurrency space. Before we do that, if you love this topic and you like more of these topics presented to you by YouTube, help the algorithm out by liking the video, commenting on it. We'll be sure to get back to you with comments as quickly as we possibly can. And then, of course, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit the bell, click all, so that you can be notified when we go live or when we upload our daily videos. Let's hear from Cian. So you have an MBA in finance. You left a cushy six-figure income job to become an entrepreneur and now an investor in cryptocurrency. And you're hanging out in the upscale hippie town that I've just discovered, Tulum, Mexico, where I met you. So you're also a deeply spiritual person. You have a podcast where you explore consciousness. So I want to know, how did you get started in crypto and why? And how does it connect with consciousness for you?
So yeah, thanks for that question, Nicola. It's really like, that's a beautiful question to get started. I mean, we'll probably just go on that one the whole time. Yeah, so I got started in crypto like way back. I don't know if it was like 2013, somewhere around there. It was whatever, it was like 5 cents a Bitcoin back then. And I remember I bought a whole bunch at 5 cents, and then it went up to 50 cents. And I was like, beautiful, that's as high as it's ever going to go. It sold everything. And I forgot about it for a couple of years, to my own detriment. But eventually, earlier this year, it kind of came back into my awareness in a really different way than it had before, because a lot has changed over the past few years, right? Like crypto's really grown up, I'd say, in the past like year and a half, 2 years, right? Like we've got institutions coming in. You can now borrow against your crypto. There's crypto credit cards. There's insurance policies that underwrite the people who hold your crypto. There's third-party holders. Like crypto's really gone from, the days of Mount Gox, where the CEO was coding live in the site and, presumably made off with everyone's crypto, to now we've got like real institutions. We got VCs getting into it. We've got like it's grown up, right? And so a lot of these things started coming into my awareness. And then when you combine that with the event that happened in 2020, which I won't name here because of, YouTube constraints, everyone knows what we're talking about. I started my international finance mind got triggered, right? And I was like, oh boy, what's happening? Something's happening. And so like I also got at the same time a download from Spirit to just like, you got to look into crypto again, right? And I had been kind of like jaded from it because I got a little, when you sell it 50 cents, you kind of like, oh, I don't want to look at that anymore. Like, oh
Painful.
God, I could be like a billionaire right now, like, anyway, so I kind of got over that emotional block and just started looking into it. And so I brought the finance knowledge in, and what that was telling me is there's a big shift happening in the world right now, right? And that big shift is a result of the big event and the fact that crypto exists. If these two things hadn't happened at the same time, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But here we are. So what's happening with the big event? Well, people are having to shut businesses down. They're having to stay at home. Governments around the world, predominantly Western governments, they're having to pay people to stay at home, right?
Mm.
And when you do that, well, the money has to come from somewhere. So if you're shutting businesses down, you're not collecting taxes from that. If people are staying at home, you're not collecting taxes from that. So if the government's paying people to stay at home and they're not collecting as much taxes, there's going to be a bit of a shortfall, I think, right?
Yeah.
So that shortfall has to come from somewhere. And governments are already like up to here, like with borrowing, like they've borrowed as much as they can because, they've been borrowing when times are good, which is insane. Like, according to finance theory, governments should borrow when times are bad and pay that back when times are good. But they've just been borrowing and borrowing and borrowing to fund the lifestyle of, I don't know, what everyone's expecting.
Them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where's the money going to come from? Well, they print it, right? Now, I don't want to get into this whole central bank and like fiat currency. Like that's a whole, like we could go down that rabbit hole, but I'll just assume everyone kind of knows the stuff around that. At the end of the day, money has no inherent value other than the value that we kind of assign to it collectively. Mm. And in a certain country, let's just say the country has a value of 100, right? And they have $100. So each dollar is worth one value. Well, let's say that's where we started. Now all of a sudden we print another $50, but we haven't increased our country's value by anything. Maybe it's even decreased. Just for simplicity of math, let's just say we printed $50. Well, now every dollar in that country is worth about 50% less value.
Yeah.
Right? So I started thinking about this. I'm like, okay, well, who's this going to affect? This isn't like, billionaires are fine because they don't hold their value in dollars for the most part. They have art, they have crypto, they have businesses, they've got like hedge funds, all this stuff, right?
Bitcoin
billionaires
now.
are going to, yeah. So they're going to be fine, right? Okay, well, what about the government? Well, they can, they can just print more money, so they're fine. And they can just increase taxes on people. So, okay, and poor people, well, they don't really have a lot of savings, so this isn't going to affect them. Inflation's going to drive the need to pay them more up, so they'll be fine. It's really the middle class that are going to get screwed by this, right? Anybody who's like making $50,000 to $150,000 a year, has savings in the bank, 20,000, 30,000, 50, 100,000, whatever it is, that savings is going to start to shrink.
Interesting. Wow. Yeah, there's so much corruption going on in those traditional financial sources, right? Which is why we are moving to cryptocurrency.
Well, that's it. And that's where crypto comes in, right? It's like, so what's a guy to do, so I start getting these downloads and I push them through the ego filter of the finance training. And I'm like, oh yeah, like crypto's the solution to a lot of these problems, like if you don't want your savings to disappear, if you don't want to like put your money into something that a government can just snap its fingers and decide, oh, that's not worth anything anymore, or, um, even the fact that the government is just printing money, like they have to, I get it, I understand it, right? But the fact that they can do that, like the US government is printing all like 30% of all US dollars in the last year. That's wild, man, And countries around the world now are like, they hold the reserve currency in US dollars, right?
Mm.
Countries and central banks around the world and companies are holding USD as the reserve currency. And they're like, oh my God, you're literally stealing value from our country, from our company. Like what? Like, why do you think Tesla all of a sudden just pivoted a portion of their reserve currency into crypto, right?
Yeah, really, really interesting. For me, cryptocurrency, especially Bitcoin, represents a shift in consciousness that has happened. And I saw it happen in 2012 when in my business, people started coming to me with different questions. It was like, hey, I've got all the skills and talents. I want to make a difference and I want to make money by making a difference. I don't want to just make money for the sake of money. So there was a real shift in consciousness about that. And then it was like, I would just give anything to feel a sense of purpose, and the money is secondary. So there's another little shift in the cogwheel to eventually not have to be in that system of thinking of reciprocity. Here, I'm going to exchange this for that. Then 2008-9, crypto comes. I got it for $5, sold it at 20, thought I was like really, really intelligent. I'm onto this.
I know. Oh my God.
But now, like with cryptocurrency, the consciousness is the store of value, and and now being able to use cryptocurrencies for exchange is highly revolutionary with a lot of these innovative companies. You look at crypto.com and anybody, any other company that uses the Visa or the MasterCard, where you purchase something, you put your crypto on there, you purchase with the crypto into the fiat currency, and then you get rewards back in the cryptocurrency. Now, if you were getting rewards back in terms of miles, you get miles, it's value for value, right? But you get it back in cryptocurrency goes up in value. Yeah, I've got one of those. Cryptocurrency goes up in value, which means that at some point, what you spent and the reward that you got back over time cancels each other out.
Totally.
Right. So there's another cog in the consciousness wheel to eventually, as a visionary, where I see we're going is to a world without reciprocity at all. We won't need to exchange. We will just be in a giving economy because everybody is so joyful. They just want to give of their talents. That's where I think we're going. And cryptocurrency is the bridge for that. So it's always juicy talking to Cian. He has a really unique perspective. If you like what you heard, you want to hear the entire interview that we had with him, diving deeper into this concept of conscious crypto trading, be sure to see the video we'll post at the end of this. And of course, as always, we'd love for you to like and comment. We try to get back to everybody who comments within a few days. Please forgive us if we take a little bit longer. Sometimes we're traveling and it's not always possible. And also to subscribe if you're new to the channel, click the bell and hit all so you'll be notified when we go live and when we do other interviews and when we upload our videos. There are many resources below in the description here, and you can see the platforms that you can trade on. There's courses that you can do if you're just new to trading or you're wanting to learn more about technical analysis. See all those details below. And then check out the full interview we had with Cian.